What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 197. We have some very great content that we're going to be bringing you with the man sitting right here, or on the other side, I guess, here. But let's get into it. What up, y'all? Hope everybody's having a great week. We are live on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and all the social channels. So appreciate everybody joining us. We have a great guest that I'm have the pleasure of introducing here, Patrick Carr. A lot of you know him. He's a big muscly guy. Anyway, he's a hard man to miss when he's walking in conferences and doing all the video shooting and content shooting. And we're going to get into that today. And so thank you for joining the show, Patrick. Appreciate you coming on. And yeah, we'll just kick things off, letting you share a little bit about your story and patrickcarr.com and encompassing the Blue Collar Media Group and what you do all together with the podcast and the stuff you do. So we'll kind of open up with that.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for having me on today. I greatly appreciate it, to your audience out there, try to bring some value to them in the time that we have together. I started my journey a little over a year ago with a company called Blue Collar Media Group that I started. And that kind of morphed, as new businesses do, into different things. And today what I do is twofold. Number one, I go out to roofing contractors across the country. I spend time with them creating unique content with their people. I'm on top of roofs. I'm showing their projects, testimonials from their customers, and talking to their employees, and all the things that really show the personality of a company, the morals, the values, everything that makes a company different from their competition. And I don't do it once. I come back every single month with that company creating unique content. And then throughout the month, what I do is I release that content to various social media platforms. So I brand a company without them ever having to think about it. They never have to look at their social. They just know that they spend a little time with me each month, and they're going to get an immense amount of content that's unique to them. The second half of my business is putting myself out of business, as I say. So, and I really mean that. What I want to do is train in-house marketing people how to do what I do with a camera and what to shoot. Because when you hire a marketing person, if you're a $5 to $10 million company, they have no clue how to do video. They can run an ad campaign. They know how to do marketing. Maybe they come from ad space or they come from another company, but they've never done video. And so what if you could have a marketing person proficient in video and proficient in actually knowing what to do with that video? And that's what I do. I spend time for 90 days with a company, and that usually includes about 6 on-site visits with them, teaching in-house people how to do it, so these contractors can begin to be real machines in-house with their marketing and their video. That's how you compete with the big boys. You start doing it at scale.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. I love it. Yeah, the topic of today is creating engaging content. That's the whole title of our podcast today. And so we're going to get into a lot of that and how you go about kind of, setting yourself as apart from the others from that standpoint, from the clients that you serve and the things that you're doing with roofing companies, particularly, because obviously, our space, it's not that our space is completely unique from some other spaces that you would need to make sure you're creating engaging content for, but let's just be honest, roofing's not that sexy, right? So how do we create engaging content to drive customers through our funnels or through our whatever our lead gen sources are, right? That we're trying to generate customers from the content that you're putting out, right? So yeah, I'm excited to get into all this today. So I mean, first and foremost, like when we talk about so all the things you do are super next level. I mean, I've seen your stuff with the One Industry One Model event. I know you're doing some stuff with Riva, and obviously you've like set podcasts up in random places with the Patrick Carr show, which it's fun to see all the. You've obviously had kind of your own experience of doing a lot of podcasts to get a lot of good content out there for your viewers as well. But from the standpoint of just specifically talking about the creating engaging content piece, which is what we're here to talk about today. What is typically your process when you evaluate a new client and where they are and what are kind of the first steps that you take them through as you're curating or kind of getting an idea of what type of content they should be creating, and what are, I guess, your first steps when you get a new customer in your door?
When a customer approaches me and wants to work with us, the first thing we want to do is a pre-production call, as we say. If we can all agree we want to work together. And what that is going to look at is, okay, let's take a little inventory of where you're at. Let's take an inventory of where your social and your websites and what are you doing? How are you posting? Who does it? Yeah. And that gives us an inventory. And then the number one thing we want to accomplish on that call, and the first thing I accomplish with any client, roofing or otherwise, is what is your distinguishing factor as a company? And I will not move off of that. If I don't care, if I got to stay on a call for hours.
Yeah.
Most people will say the exact same thing. My customer service, my material, my professionalism, my experience, blah, blah, blah. Because, and the reason I say that is because that's exactly what your competition is going to say.
Absolutely.
So you're no different than what they are. The reason I want to figure that out is because that's going to gear me towards where the content that we create actually is going. Your engaging content is going to be different than the engaging content for somebody down the street, because there's something that's unique to your company that's not unique to theirs. So if we figure out what that is, then I start to go all in on that one factor, because you're already strong at that. You already have your ace in the hole. I don't need to deal you new cards. I just need to play the deck that we have.
Yep.
And so that is always my first thing. Let's figure out truly what makes you different. And if there isn't anything, then we got to really start figuring it out together.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. That's good, man. That's a huge gold nugget. We, by the way, spoiler alert for you at the very end of this, I'm going to ask you for a gold nugget. So don't give us all the spoiler at the start, because I want to make sure that you got something for the end. But no, that's really good. I think the key takeaway there is, like, I mean, double down on what your differentiator is, right? And trying to make sure that we're creating content around that, because if it is like, hey, you're really good at, throwing some ideas out there, and maybe you want to contribute to some ideas that we can provide for the viewers. But the idea of it being like, your customer experience, like that might be a high point for you, as it is for everybody. Everybody says they have the best customer experience, but if it is, hey, we do prep extremely well, right? Or we do, tarping different or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, and obviously I'm getting into some granular stuff there, but like, if we say, hey, we have this kind of this proprietary process that we go through to ensure, crew safety or project, the protection of property or any of those types of things, I think those are all really big things that you can kind of put a magnifying glass to when you're talking about your content creation. And then that can be amplified and say like, hey, there's nobody else doing what we do. We lay, OSB down all the way to the street, and we got, whatever. I mean, whatever it is to you that makes you unique. I think that's huge. I love that. I love that piece of it. So yeah, specifically, I mean, like, and that kind of ties into the whole conversation we're having here, which is like, when you are talking about video creation and what you're doing, like, obviously there's a difference between your ad videos, right? Your quick videos you're making, and your branding videos, like, and the things that you're trying to do from whether that's like a differentiation standpoint or whatever. So just around that topic specifically, how do you kind of go about positioning the two, and what's, kind of share your feedback on and ideas around kind of what you look for in each of those types of videos, or any other types of videos that you'd like to create?
Absolutely. So when I sit down with a client, there are two types of videos. I call them organic, meaning stuff that we're organically generating it. We're not trying to bring in leads, or we're not trying to recruit anybody. There's not a specific ROI for that video. What there is we're putting it out there for brand management. We're trying to establish ourselves as something within our industry and region. Second to that, we have ad videos. Those are ones we're trying to bring in that stuff. So you have organic and you have ads. On the organic approach, there are three types of videos that everybody should be creating. You need to be creating a company video every week. I say these need to be created 3 videos every single week. A company video showing what about your company is different than everybody else. An educational video. Show me something like, I always use the example of the tar strip on the back of shingle.
Yep.
You know what it is. Does your customer? No. So show me a 1-minute video. Show me what that is. An educational video, a company video, and here's the kicker, a community video. The community video is getting out in the community and showing a unique component of the community that you serve. It could be a school, a PTA, a barbershop, a restaurant that you frequent. And what I tell my clients to do is go out there and grab the assistant manager at the barbecue place you go to, put your arm around them and go, hey, I'm out here at Patrick's Barbecue. We love coming here. It's our favorite place in the world. We wouldn't go anywhere else. Mike, we appreciate everything you do. The pulled pork here is amazing. Whatever you want to say. It's simple. But here's what happens, everybody. As soon as you post that out and you tag Patrick's Barbecue then takes that video and puts it to their page. Yep. And you reach the new potential audience without having to spend a dime. The people that like that restaurant, well, you like it too. You already have something in common right now. And then what you do is you follow the comments and you follow what happens on that particular video to see if anybody is engaging. It costed you nothing, and you showed yourself as being part of the community. That is how you create organic content, in my opinion. Ad content is the same way. There's a formula, and that formula is real simple. You're going to go the same exact 5 steps for every 1-minute video. And that is, you're going to hook somebody, you're going to tell them the problem, you're going to show some credibility, you're going to give them a solution, and then you're going to go call to action. 5 steps. If you do that on every single ad video and you're creating organic content simultaneously, you'll become an authority within your region that nobody can touch.
Love it. So let's hit on those again, because that was like it was spitting fire, and it was all like this right there. No, I'm not. It's great. I'm the same way. Like let's go. But I want to make sure that this marinates a little bit. So the 5 steps on the ad side of things. Yes. Hook. What's the next thing?
Hook. You've got to hook them. Tell them the problem. You've got to establish credibility. Then you've got to give a solution, and then you've got to do a call to action. So. You know, you hook them with something like this. I'll give you an example. I got a client of mine who hates hurricanes as a roofer. I'm going to tell you the why. So the guy says, you start off the ad and you say something like, hey, I'm a roofing contractor here in Tampa, Florida, and I can't stand when hurricanes roll through here. I've got somebody hooked. The problem with hurricanes is that, unfortunately, roofing contractors come in here, they do a bunch of work, they don't warranty it, and I have to be the one who gets the calls for all those repairs. My name is Patrick Carr. I've been a local contractor here in Tampa, Florida for 20 years. I've seen far too many calls come in after a hurricane with people who got shoddy work. Don't make that mistake. The solution to this is that you give me a call, and I'm going to make sure that I'm here for you both before and after that repair job gets done. I'm going to be here for you because I've been here for 20 years. All you got to do is click the link below or visit my page and save the number. When you have a hurricane and there's something that rolls through, work with a local contractor like Patrick's Roofing, and don't get left in the dark.
There it is, folks. No, that's great stuff, dude. That's like, no, that's great.
Well, that's what we follow. The pattern right there. We came up with a hook. We problem, credibility, solution, and we did a call to action. And that, in my opinion, is where the power comes in, with something that you can template and is consistent.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So let's switch gears a little bit here and talk a little bit about like blue collar media, your services, and the stuff that you are doing. And I know you said you're trying to almost educate folks to like kind of put yourself out of business to a degree of, and I love that. Like, I think that's super cool. It just shows that level of abundant mindset that you have. So that's super cool. But blue collar media group specifically, like, so obviously we talked about a little bit about like, hey, what's the kind of the first step of going through this process? But in general, like when you're talking about all the things that you do, like, is it more so just video specifically, or is it something that is, hey, like we're coming up with an entire marketing strategy that we're trying to execute. And like, you know, I just want to kind of get an idea for the viewers, for folks that might be interested in your services or are looking for solutions such as yourself that say, hey, like, you know, it's not just the video content we're doing, it's also other aspects of your marketing or whatever that we're kind of thinking through. So if you could kind of expound on that a little bit.
Absolutely. I am not your SEO guy or your Facebook campaign guy for ads. I'm not. What people look at me as is I'm a brand builder. I'm going to build content with you. I'm going to distribute that content across social media, and over a period of 90 days, build your brand to where people know who you are, what you represent. If you look at yourself right now and you're like, listen, I'm running ads, but I'm not getting much right now, then here's what I think could be happening with a lot of the clients that I work with. They never think about this, and marketing companies don't either. This is important. I'm going to use an air fryer as an example. Okay. I was looking for a damn air fryer on Instagram, or I wasn't actually, but then I started getting ads on Instagram.
Yeah.
As I got these ads, I did the same thing. I looked at their pages, their Facebook or Instagram page for an air fryer. And if it looked like crap, what did I do? Put it off. Next. I'm not going to spend $150 on that one. And I put it off. They captured me with their marketing. But as I went to go do research wherever I chose to do it, they didn't keep me. And I moved on. People are making that mistake right now. They're putting tens of thousands of dollars into marketing. And yet you go to their pages and all it is a before and after photo from February 2022 showing their roof. And they want to know why they're not capturing people when they actually are clicking on their ads.
Yeah.
You've got to build a brand simultaneously to capturing your marketing. And that's what I'm trying to do for people. I never want them to lose a potential customer.
That's good, man. That's good. Let's take a quick break here. We're going to go to our sponsors here, and we will come right back with more questions from Mr. Patrick Carr.
If you aren't using Job Nimbus, you should be.
The effects that it's going to have on my personal life, I can see is automation is going to change the way I live.
We've been able to eliminate all the paper, all of our paper files, and actually everything is online for us now.
At Engage, we believe it's just plain wrong that it's so hard to create, share, and measure presentations that sell. Now, you don't have to be a graphic designer to create professional, polished presentations. Wow customers with interactive features like buttons and inline videos. Use our sample pages to transform the photos and content you already have on hand. Engage is a cloud-based platform, so your team will always have the latest version of a presentation both on and offline. And with Teams, you have total control over who can access and edit. Empower your sales managers to make informed decisions with rich, built-in analytics to see how long reps spend in each part of a presentation. Then use that information to make every rep your best rep. Close more deals with powerful presentations. Learn more at engage.io.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors there. Presenting sponsor Job Nimbus. Job Nimbus, a industry-leading CRM. Go check them out at jobnimbus.com. Appreciate their support for the show. And also Engage, industry-leading technology for presentation tools and all things. We've had an Engage CEO on the show before, I think just a couple weeks ago, but they create really badass stuff from a presentation standpoint. So make sure you check them out as well. Engage.io. Engage.io. So back to Mr. Carr. So the question to follow up some of the things we were just talking about, and I think we kind of got into this a little bit before the show actually, was kind of like, is there a formula? And I don't know if you have the answer to this or not, but just from your standpoint, knowing how you post content, and like you've obviously got it nailed down on the way that you should be creating content and trying to continue to curate good ads or good ad type of content, right? But from a standpoint of like scheduling your post or how you go about getting your message out, is there something that you do from a day-to-day standpoint on a scheduling basis of this content to be deployed? And if I'm asking it too complex of a question, that's fine. But like, do you see that there's trends of success putting content out certain times of the day, or you have a certain cadence that you deploy things? Like, I just kind of want to get your feedback there.
I love it. The times of the day is a very interesting one. I think that people find very compelling. There are two times of the day for the most part to be posting if you want the most engagement. The first is approximately 11 a.m. in the morning. And the second is around 7 p.m. at night, depending on the app in which you're posting to. Now, I want everyone to think about why. At 11 a.m. in the morning, most people are at work or they've been working at their computer at home and they're bored. They're starting to look through their phone and they're looking for something to engage them. So it's a great time to be posting and get in front of people at that time. The other thing that's important is at 7 o'clock at night, people are looking at their phone and they're starting to wind down from the day. Another great time to be posting right there. So I always try to post in the morning and I try to post in the early evening so that I catch those individuals who may be looking at that. As far as what to post on a weekly basis, a content schedule, there are a number of companies that offer the schedules that you can buy, the calendars that will allow you to kind of get an idea. Yep. I'm not about that. I go by more feel, to be very frank with you, for my clients. And I mean that in a way that Sometimes I'll give you an example. Down here in Florida, there have been a lot of law changes recently in the last 2 months. And I've been telling some of my clients, you need to go ahead and just simply take a copy, that's a screenshot of that bill that's changed, or that law, and put it out there to your page and do a little write-up about it. That kind of stuff I can't really plan for on a content schedule. You've got to go by the feel of your industry. And I think that what people need to look at is the best way to look at the schedule. Look at your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, all these places as your storefront, your brick and mortar storefront. What are people seeing when they go there? I have a 6-post rule, meaning that no one's going to look at your 8th post from 2 months ago. They're going to pick one post from the last 6 that you've done, and they're going to make a judgment about your company. That's what you get. You get one shot. That's the same as somebody driving past your store or past your roofing business. You get one opportunity. So make the most of it with everything that you post. So if it's an article, great. If it's a video, good. If it's a picture, fine. But make sure that something is going to speak to your potential customer. It's not simply a filler like you did on Canva because you felt like you had to do something.
Yeah.
I know I went around that question a little bit, but I hope it made sense.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think like in the way that we talk about like content scheduling from our perspective is like, you got to have like, and I think you hit on this a little bit earlier, like, but you can't just be asking, you can't always have just the like call to action from the standpoint of needing something from your audience. I think you have to make sure you're mixing in the value components, mixing in the other, like you were talking earlier, I forget exactly how you put it. We should probably reiterate that, but like the company piece, the community piece, and you said one other thing. What was the other thing?
Educational.
Educational. Perfect. So like those 3 pieces from like mixing up your content, like it should always be cycling through that, I would assume, as an organic process is concerned. And I know that there's some algorithms, like we could get into some more complex stuff, but like there is a way to be like, hey, from an educational standpoint, like obviously you want to ask for the business, if you will, or showcase your company. But part of it too is to constantly be just creating educational content, which is a lot of the people that win in this industry is, like you said, educating them on what a tack strip is, or educating them on how many nails you're putting in your shingles, or whatever. I mean, like as stupid as it sounds to us, it's good stuff to be able to put out there. And go ahead.
2 things I'm hot about right now on that is what you just said is so important. You're not creating content for your colleagues. You're creating content for your potential customers. People get caught up into, oh, what is roofer down the street going to think about me talking about this? Screw what he thinks. He ain't paying your bills, man. Yeah. What's the homeowner going to think when they go to your page? Yep. And so create content for the people that matter, number one. But then here's what I'm hot about right now. I'm doing this. I had a roofer in the north central, I guess what you call it, Florida area. I'm trying to get to homeowners. They feel like they're butting their head against a wall. I'm like, okay, how do we reach people that we don't feel like, man, we've had trouble getting to them? And especially such a general topic as homeowners or business owners. So here's an idea for somebody out there. What if you did this? What if you said, okay, I'm trying to reach homeowners. Well, a lot of these people live in HOAs. Well, people manage HOAs called management companies like Century, Leland, whoever else there might be.
Yep.
What if you went to that management company and said, hey, I want to create a commercial for you with a team of videographers that I hire for $5,000. And all I want to do is just make you guys look like rock stars. Well, what's in it for you? Nothing. I don't want any money. I just want to do it for you. Okay, great. Sure. Whatever. And you make that company look awesome. And then you go and you present it to their VP. Do you not think they're going to get you involved with some HOA? They're going to get you involved with multifamily, whatever they manage? Of course they are, because you did something selflessly for free for them. I mean, you got to think a little bit outside the box with video if you want to reach people. If you're trying to reach that business owner, you're trying to reach that homeowner, how do you get to them? Video can open that door if you use it in the right way, but that's just an idea if you're trying to reach that HOA and those people maybe you haven't.
That's great, man. That's great. I don't want to get too nitty gritty on this, but I do want to talk about just some of this for folks that, I mean, and I'm not saying that, you have my plug here to go check out what Blue Collar Media Group is doing and hit up Patrick for his services, no doubt. But from a standpoint, I've had this question before, and I don't know if this is something that you do want to get really granular with, or you just want to keep it high level. But like someone that is like you, obviously you're a big personality, a big guy, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, like just like authoritative, like your stuff, this is what you do, like you come in and like you help businesses out and move them forward, great. But let's say that a company out there is looking to do this stuff in-house, or they're trying to get somebody else that can come into the mix that they want to hire to have like a full-time person or something like that. Again, I know we can go down a million avenues with this question, but like from a standpoint of that particular person and what their capabilities and competencies need to be, because obviously you're a creative guy, you're creative mind, you kind of almost see the vision of what you want to put together as you're capturing the content, I would assume. But what are the ways that, like, just looking at it from a standpoint of, if I'm a business owner and I wanted to hire somebody or get someone involved to just capture more content, get more stuff. My question is, what would you say are the 1, 2, 3 top things that person needs to be able to do? Obviously, they got to be like tech savvy and understand the audio visual stuff like that. But like, and I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but this isn't some of the questions. This isn't a question I asked you ahead of time.
Please.
What are the kind of key things you're looking for in that type of person if you're this business owner looking for someone to do what you do?
Yeah. So if there's a lot of people who would say the tech savvy thing, know how to use cameras, all that stuff. When I first started this thing, I had no idea how to even run a camera. Okay. I never used one in my life. I'm going to tell you a funny story, man. And my first client that I went to in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm going to leave their name unknown, but they'll know who they are. I showed up there without a camera, only my cell phone. I had quit a previous company that I was with that hadn't paid me in 3 months, and I had no camera equipment, and I never used one before. That company, I had used a videographer who I didn't have enough money to pay him anymore, so I was on my own now. So they thought I'd done that all on my own. But when I showed up that day, I told them, I said, hey guys, I'm going to teach your people how to do everything from a cell phone. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a good first day. Yeah. Only reason I did that is because I didn't have a camera to do anything else. So I literally took the money that they gave me that day to go buy a camera and a tripod and a lens. The first lens I ever bought, which I had no idea what a lens was, and I bought the wrong one. Yeah. I bought an 85, which I still have it. I mean, but anyways.
But no excuse, right? No excuse to not like.
No.
I mean, you started from like, that wasn't your background, right? Like you said.
Right. But here's the point of why I say this, because I really want to this is so important to understand. Rather than looking for somebody who's got that tech savvy type thing, or who can name off every camera lens and all the new tech, I want to know somebody who can take a camera like a cell phone, who's willing to get up on top of a roof, get down there and take a picture of a nail going into the roof. I want to look for somebody who's going to be okay being in the hot sun all the time. Somebody that's willing to go out there and go door to door with my guys and film them doing it in the hot sun. Yeah. Let me tell you, you can teach somebody through YouTube and Fiverr and other things. I did it, how to use cameras and editing and all that, and for a very small amount of money. You can't teach somebody to get up on a 98-degree roof and sit up there and show their guys doing it and get a good picture of that with a cell phone. Oh. That grit is what this industry really is about, showing it out there in the field. So if you really want that, I know maybe it's not the answer that people need, but if you're looking,
that's a good answer. I think the number one thing you just said there is like, you got to find the person that wants to. It's not all glitz and glamour of putting the stuff together and like whatever. It's just like when you're looking for that person, I think, and it's fine. It's fine that it wasn't 3 things. Like that one thing is crucial. Is like that one thing needs to be that person has to have that drive that is really trying to just continue to, whether it's with a cell phone or with a professional camera, whatever, is like wants to get out there and like make that content and do the things necessary to put the name out there. Right. And I think that's good. I think it's a good answer. There's nothing wrong with that. So
can I give your audience maybe 3 apps they should download on their phone if they want better video?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is where I think that there's some really cool things and you could really change your video with 3 apps. The first is Mix Captions. All right. Everyone sees those cool captions that people put on their video.
Yeah.
It's captions. Listen, it's $3.99. It'll actually transcribe it for you. Like it takes a minute and it'll spit out the captions. You can choose different lettering and coloring and cool stuff. Folks, you can also download it in 4K. So right from your phone, you can take a 4K video, don't lose any quality. It'll make great captions. Go through and change them because sometimes it gets a word wrong. You can go through it. Yeah. Mixed captions is great for captions. Make awesome video content. 80% of videos on social media are watched without sound. Make sure you got some captions on there. Number 2, Power Director is a second one. It is the easiest phone editing software that there is. It'll allow you to put in transitions and name tags, extract the audio, all this cool stuff right from your phone. Boom, download it in 4K. Power Director by Cyberlink is a great one. And then probably the next thing I would say, and this is where people use this app, but they never think about it, is Canva. Canva is amazing for video, everybody. Don't just use it for pictures. It's got incredible capability with video, and it's something that people can use. Those 3 together, you've got a power trio right there on your phone to create great content in the field. And that's where that person who's got some grit can begin to create you awesome content without having to have that tech savvy mind quite yet.
Yeah, dude, that's good. I just posted that in the chat there for folks.
Oh,
so
thanks.
Mixed caption, Power Director, right? Mm-hmm. And Canva. And obviously the Canva piece is we know it to be most of the desktop stuff and things that we create graphics for and stuff. But yeah, I think you could leverage that to, put your video inside of there and have your branding all around it, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's good stuff. That's good stuff. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get super granular, but if we need to get granular, like I want there to be value. So yeah, that mixed with like equipment wise, like for you, just from the standpoint of like what you use and the things that you're putting, you're putting together are obviously top notch from a content standpoint. Like, are you constantly just getting it mostly from, are you using these applications a lot of times on the phone, or do you have like a specific, we don't need to get into all the details, but like you using Blackmagic, you using like from a content perspective, I'm just saying like what equipment to some degree are you using?
Well, let's get granular. Mind if I show you so these guys can know? Let me show you here.
We'll see it. The man's going to go grab his stuff. So
yeah, I want to realistically show you what it looks like because it's 2 things. So this is for my contractors and people to start with, okay? Here, 2 very small pieces of equipment, a GoPro and these mics, which are the best mics in the game. Everyone knows it. Rode wireless 2s.
Yep.
Okay? Yep. So here's the deal, everybody. The GoPro 9 and 10 have an external mic output, meaning that I can take my mic, slide it on top of a GoPro 9, I can plug in right here, and then I've got this that can clip to a shirt or I can talk into it, and I've got 4K video and I've got great audio. The reason roofers want to buy these mics is, look, the mic is on the inside, everybody. So I can get rid of wind noise.
Yeah.
So when you're on top of a roof that's big, so you can use these like this, you can clip them on, or you can go ahead and buy the lavalier mic and they can go ahead and plug into there and you can attach the lavalier. But I like the option of these because you've got an internal mic to cut down wind noise right there if you'd like.
Yeah.
This will shoot in 4K, everybody. You'll have great audio, and it's great on top of a roof because it's meant for that. It's great for that, to be able to move without that jitteriness. And it's inexpensive. You're probably looking at both these together. You're looking around a $500 price point all in on all this stuff. And you can have some great 4K video going on top of your roof right there.
That's good stuff, man. I love it. I know that you, and we'll kind of start winding this thing down, so be respectful of your time. But I guess from a video editing standpoint and the stuff that you do, and maybe this is something that you can give some of the viewers guidance on, like, the person that's collecting this content. Obviously you talk about like mixed caption, Power Director, all those things, like mobily speaking, like there's no excuse. Like we should all be doing more, myself included. I'm a guilty party in that I don't put enough content out there. But from the standpoint of like someone like you that goes and shoots the content, and then you go and actually be your own producer of that and put it all together in whatever program you use, which is, it doesn't have, that's kind of beside the point, the program specifically. But when you're talking about that person, like, is the expectation in general that like the person shooting the content should also be the person that is like kind of putting it all together? Or is it, I mean, just from a standpoint of, again, trying to think about the idea of like people doing this in-house themselves? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not good with editing or putting it all together or whatever. I mean, what are some suggestions you have if they run into an issue with like editing the content? What would you suggest?
Yeah. So my suggestion is that if you're a roofing contractor with a marketing person, that marketing person needs to be able to do all three of what you just said. They need to be able to shoot the content, edit, and distribute that content. What else are you doing if you're a marketing person now? What are you doing? You're going to the 18th hole of the charity golf tournament and you got your sign out there. Is that really what marketing is now? No, I'm sorry. It's more than that. Marketing is video now. You need to be able to understand how to do both. If your people don't, I assure you, your competition will find people that do. Yeah. With that in mind, the most important thing to understand is you don't need to be a video editor. We're roofers. We're creating basic video content here, okay? Basic transitions, basic storytelling. When I get with my clients, you're trying to show something about your business. It's not flashy transitions. Let's drop the music, throw this stuff up there. Like, there's something to be said for cinematic quality. I get it. There's something to be said for a story that you tell. I would want somebody in my marketing team who says, listen, I can throw together a couple clips, throw some music behind it, and tell a story about what's happening on that roof. Let that be your brand. And for me, that's what's important. You need somebody that can do all three, but don't get bogged down by I need hours and hours of Adobe training so that I can, piece together some insane video. Nah, get some good stuff out there.
That's good, man. That's good. Cool. Well, as we wrap things up here, this has all been like, I know it's been granular and it's tough because like, I don't want to go granular, but also too, it's like, just like what you showed there from a standpoint of your equipment and things like that. Like those are things that people go out and buy. Obviously, like a lot of folks have started to adopt the drone stuff. They go out and they buy a drone and they shoot content that way too. I'm sure you got it as well. I mean, we could go into all the equipment and all the details around that, but I think the value you've delivered today is very much like, this is not like rocket science. It's not, and we always come by the term of like done is better than perfect. So obviously we need to make sure like grammatical errors and like captions are lining up, all that sort of stuff. But from a standpoint of like, even if it's not the like most incredible production, put together from a standpoint of editing or all that sort of stuff, like it's still putting your stuff out there and your brand out there. And obviously as you grow, because we're talking about this is the Start, Build, Grow show. So everybody's in different phases of their business. And some of you are in a place where you're just starting. Some of you are in a place where you're like, hey, let's grow this thing and let's get Patrick Carr to come out and do our stuff, right? But it's no excuse anyway that you should be constantly putting stuff together, whether it's of Patrick Carr quality or another person in the industry that's or even out of the industry that's got that level of expertise that he has. You should be always putting stuff together because it's so easy and accessible, and you can kind of half-ass look like you know what you're doing this day and age anyway with a lot of the stuff that's available to us. So that's good, man. So as we wrap things up, let's get the gold nugget piece from you. If you have anything that kind of just leave the viewers with, what can, from a creating engaging content, which has been the whole point of our conversation today, what more can, you've already offered a ton of stuff to us, but what more could you offer from a standpoint of just like one gold nugget to take away for this show?
Yeah, I would tell your viewers to give content creation its due. And I mean this because it's not an easy thing. And too often we belittle it like, listen, I'm not doing content because I don't know how, or I'm too busy. When in reality, the real reason is because you're insecure about one of two things, yourself or your product. And the quicker you can figure out which one of those it is, the more apt you are to take your growth to another level. And let me explain just briefly what I mean. People who don't create content sometimes look at themselves and they're afraid of the negativity that's going to come their way. And they don't want to say that, but it's okay to give it its due. It's okay to say, I'm afraid of the negativity that's going to come from my colleagues or from people out there in the public. It's not saying that you're not a strong person or not strong mentally. It's tough to get over that hump, But once you do, it's a very powerful place to be at. And then the second part of that is your product. I see many business owners that, whether they say it or not, they know there's some things they could tighten up in their service, and they're afraid they're going to be exposed. And so if that's where you're at in the back of your mind, then there's no better way to put yourself out there and to start tightening up your process than to start putting yourself out there and putting your face out there. I'm telling you, you'll put a whole other level of accountability to what you do when you do that. But take that step and give content creation its due one way or the other about why you're not doing it.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, we appreciate you being on the show, Mr. Patrick. I've just really I've just enjoyed getting to know you and being around you a little bit more from the event scene and stuff like that. And so one last time, patrickcarr.com, go give him a shout. If you're a roofing contractor in the space and have some real value to offer, he's also got his own podcast, the Patrick Carr Show, and I know he highlights a lot of talent and unique folks that are in this industry that are really trying to level take it up a level, take it up a notch. And so I'm really just excited to be able to continue to. You got a very unique background. We didn't get into all that, but like from your story of in the industry, I know we just focused on.
I gotta say this about you though, man. I mean, I know that I don't know if how many of your viewers get a chance to actually see you in public, man. You are the exact person that you see when it's online. All right. Anybody who stops and talks to you, you sit there and you talk to them. You'll give them 30 minutes of your time. You don't brush anybody off. It's really, really cool to see, because for someone like me who looks up to someone like you when they come into the industry, you don't know what to expect. I'm going to get emotional. I'm an emotional person, but you don't know what to expect from somebody, you know? And then you get a chance to see them at these conferences and stuff. And like, you genuinely will spend time with people that you don't know if they're going to add value like that moment to you, but you do it anyway, man. It's really cool from somebody who comes into an industry like this, who looks up to you, you know, to see it really play out, bro, you know?
Dude, that means the world to me. I was not expecting that. So I appreciate you a lot for saying that, and ditto to you, man. Like you give back in a big way. So, I mean, it's reciprocated. I really appreciate that.
It's true, man.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing, and this show is not about me, but just to comment on that, is like, I think in general, and I could say the same thing from your perspective, because obviously there's plenty of us that make sacrifices to try to make the industry a better place, even if that doesn't necessarily directly correlate to the money going in the wallet, right? So like we give of our time, and I would say that that's the same for you. I mean, in general, it's all about just trying to give, right? Give and serve the best way. I got my serve shirt on, so serve the industry best we can. But dude, that's like, appreciate that. You didn't have to do that.
True,
but thank
man.
you.
I've been wanting to say it, man. It's God's honest truth, man. You never know what to expect when you see somebody online, then you meet them in person, or you see how they are and how they interact with others. But yeah, man, it's a real deal.
All love, dude. Appreciate that. Cool. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks again, Patrick. We are every week on Tuesday this week. Yesterday we had to reschedule to today, but Monday, 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Eastern, every week. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all the things necessary to continue to share our content and get this great information that we just got from Patrick out there. And folks such as Patrick that come and just willingly give away all the information and the cheat codes to our show. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks again, Patrick. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.